On this instalment of Creative Cabin Fever, I have the great privilege of welcoming Niall MacCabe. Now, Niall is going to be coming here on Saturday to do a gig in the Theatre Royal, and it's an absolute pleasure and privilege to speak to him after delving deep into his sonics the last 2 days to understand the measure of the man. Welcome, Niall.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
So you're coming to Waterford. That's super exciting. I love when there's interesting gigs happening here, and at the moment there seems to be all sorts of revolutionary sonics coming down this end, so it's brilliant. So you have a gig on Saturday in the Theatre Royal. Tell us more.
Yeah, I've got a very interesting gig in the Theatre Royal, actually. It's called Backstage at the Theatre Royal. So obviously for, smaller artists like myself, I wouldn't be able to fill the normal Theatre Royal, but we're actually having the audience up on stage, and we're going to do the gig there. So it's like a, I don't know, it's a different, just framing it differently, and so hopefully we'll get some different feels from it. That'll be great.
Yeah,
very, very excited.
It's a super intimate space. It's really, really, really beautiful. It's full of the backstage stone wall, and it's just a really, really nice feeling. So you're right, it's a completely different buzz from the Theatre Royal in its other form, but it has so many beautiful historic qualities, and it's great to be in the backstage area where you feel like this is where the greats practiced for everything, and you can feel that energy just buzzing and surrounding you, and the sound down there is amazing. So that's going to be something truly special. So I'd urge everyone to go to the link in the interview and buy your tickets for Saturday.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, I hopefully there's no phantoms, behind the stage there.
No, we hope for those.
The opera.
We hope for those.
Oh, we do. Okay.
Yeah. They're near that light that's always on in a theatre. They kind of go around that like little moths.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah, that's true. True story.
Yeah, Waterford's theatre is actually quite historic. There's so many wonderful artists have performed there, so many plays over the years, and the floorboards are still pretty much the same as they always were. So a lot of the greats have actually walked on those creaky, woody, beautiful things. So I'm hoping for the phantoms.
Yeah, hopefully we can instill a bit more of that kind of madness into the floorboards on Saturday night.
I hope so. And I'm saying this with whole heart and genuinity. I really believe the gig is going to be amazing. So everyone should definitely get their tickets. But in order to get to know you better, Niall, and give people something that they may not know about you, let's start at the way back. What was your gateway drug into the music industry? What was the first song you remember falling in love with?
Oh, falling in love with? I'm not 100% sure, although I do remember my first song. I remember I think actually it's an interesting enough question, because my first memory is actually also singing. I don't remember speaking for the first time. I don't remember walking, but I do remember my very first memory is my grandmother teaching me to sing a song. And I was, very, very young, way too young. My mother said that I was speaking at a ridiculously young age, so obviously I was singing at a very young age too. And my granny was from Boffin, and she taught me a song called 10. It's about a fishing disaster over in England back at the turn of the 1800s or something like that. And that's the first thing I remember. It's a very vivid memory. And she was that one, and then she also sang me one from Joseph and His Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, the title song from that. So they were the two first memories I have of singing those two songs. So yeah, very powerful. Music is, just seems to be there since the start. And she also, she played the fiddle and the accordion. And so of course I played the accordion, and she bought me my first guitar. So I can kind of blame my grandmother for starting my music.
Or thank. Blame and thank, kind of at equal dualitas measures.
Well, I do blame music for a lot of the problems in my life too. The fact that I'm not sitting in a nice studio here talking to you, and I'm in the back of my van, that's music's fault.
Yes. It's also music's benefit, I guess, that
Yeah, no,
freedom and
absolutely.
the absolute pleasure we all have to have a calling, you know. My first memory is also music related, but not as a creator or a singer. I just remember being in the back of my dad's Jag and hearing a song on the radio about age 4 or something, and it was Painted Black by the Rolling Stones, and I was like, who the hell is this, and why do I feel it in my soul? And
Yeah.
from then on, it was kind of game over with me and the Sonics, you know?
It's interesting how a lot of our early memories, for most people, are music related. Like, you know, your mother singing a song to you while you're going to sleep, or, you know, somebody hanging out washing and whistling. Like they really are, like, music has a very particular place in your memory and your soul, like that, you know, there's nothing else really kind of quite has those same hooks, you know.
Well, we have 5 senses, and I would argue that the first one to awaken in us is actually our hearing, because it's the first thing we have attunage to when we're in our mother's stomach. So we hear the wash of the water and her heartbeat and all those very, very important sounds that actually lead us to existence.
Yeah, but I wouldn't argue that.
Getting real deep for a
I know,
Thursday.
yeah.
Keep her away from the theatre royal. Okay, so you're coming down to play. I'm really interested about how your creativity was affected in this moment in time. So obviously we've all gone through something pretty, you know, pretty different over the last 2 years. A lot of people have seen their creativity change due to the fact that they couldn't maybe experience things in the same way. Have you had any changes to your personal creativity in this moment in time?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was living in Cork and Kinsale for the last, you know, 12 years more. I've got 2 sons, and we were living there just before the pandemic. I just decided I was taking them up to Carolina and we're gone and go back home. And yeah, a few days later, the whole country went into lockdown. So they were there and kind of, you know, away from their mother for a few months. She was down in Kinsale. Like we're very very good, very close, but we're, you know, we're split up a long time. But yeah, I just found that being at home was the key to unlocking just so much more creativity for me. I had been kind of struggling for a long time to kind of remember my own voice and kind of remember, like, I had been trying to remember where I was from, but until you go home, you know, it just doesn't click. It doesn't align the right way, you know, and it just did. Like everything just kind of started to slide into place. And I'm not saying that the music I was writing or I'm writing, you know, is amazing or is world changing, but it just feels right for me. Like I feel like when I'm writing now, like that's me. Take it or leave it. Like this is, you know, and that's more important to me now than anything else. It's like really just, you know, opening up more of that of your own voice, you know, like chipping away at the boulder around the statue that is your own voice. And that's I think that's more important, is that you have one voice that is unique, and if you can find that, then it is unique, and it's worth more to the world to bring that, you know, than to bring a thousand of the cookie cutter musicians and singers around the place. So I feel really good about that. I feel like my creativity has started down the right road again.
And that's wonderful, and you're absolutely right. Why be anybody else? Everybody else is taken. So just
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good line.
Yeah. Did you release much during lockdown, or have you had any experience with regards to releasing in this moment in time?
So I released some stuff at the start, just before, let's say the end of 2019. I had been working on an album, and I was, you know, about to kind of dive straight into that and try and get it out and have something to the start of 2020. And of course, I believe that 2020 is my year, just like everyone else. 2020 is my year. It's all gonna work. And no, it didn't. So yeah, but then I just kind of, it took a while, like, but I kind of just decided that I didn't care too much about those songs that I've been writing. I just started writing new ones, and once you're kind of away from those songs for long enough, you lose interest, and you just want to write, you know, better or newer, or, you know, more personal. And so I only released that the last chorus there. That's what I've done since the end of 2019. I think that could be true. Yeah, I think that's it. So I released that on the 4th of March. And obviously I've been hoping to do a tour maybe in January and February this year, but because of the way, the lockdowns and the kind of the industry was working, I just couldn't get anywhere to play. So I just couldn't. Nobody was getting back to me because they were just flat out trying to reschedule all the gigs that have been cancelled or postponed. So I'm doing it now, which is great. It's actually all kind of worked out quite well.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. We've all kind of been reshuffled and reinvented and forever changed by this moment in time. So I'm delighted you finally get to do your tour now, and especially that you get to come to Waterford. So that's just great, because more artists do need to come here, because there's such a fountain of creativity and culture down these parts, and I am sure that the attendance for gigs would be massive if people just knew about the Forgotten City, Ireland's oldest.
Yeah, I think it's a cultural thing too, as in like the culture of going to gigs, of buying tickets. Like some cities and some towns just go because that's what we do. Or there's a venue there that they say we always just go there because we trust them, and then it's just about building the relationship, with the audience. And the same for me. That's the reason I want to come to Waterford. Or one of the reasons. One of the reasons is because Anthony, sold me on his heartbreaking story of the cultural backwater, But the other one is that I just want to build relationships, and that's what I'm doing. I want to go down to small venues. That's what I was saying to Anthony as well. I said like 50 people max. I mean, because that'll be really pushing it, even to get a 50 capacity place, full or even half full. So I wanted to go and play to a small little venue with as many people in that little venue as possible, because I want the people that come there to feel like they're having a special experience. And if you're in a larger venue and there's only 10 other people around you, you're going to feel like it's not that great a night, regardless of how good the music is. There's no atmosphere. Like it's just as much about making sure that the audience has a great time. So being able to play up on stage there to 50 people or whatever it is, that's way more inspiring to me than playing to the a half full auditorium. But I want to build connections, so that next time I come around, there might be 10 more people at the gig, or you meet somebody. You never know who you meet. You just don't know who you meet. You don't know who you can touch with music. So I think this is really worth doing. And
it only ever takes touching one person enough for them to make you their whole entire life. Like, there's this incredible book that I love. It's called This Band Could Be Your Life, and I kind of fervently believe that. It's like why I always go see the support act, why I'm always early at a gig, because you just never know. Like, that support act could effectively change your life, and there's a lot to be said for that. So I like that.
Yeah, I'm sure you've also gone you've gone to musicians who you've got like a few of their albums and you've listened to them on repeat, and you go to see them and there's only 30 people there, and half of them are listening because they're there for the main act. You're like, how are you not listening? This is ridiculous. How does nobody know you? And we all have that, and then you forget that you can be that person for someone. So like I'm constantly surprised that there are a couple of people that I meet around, they know all the words to my songs. I was like, that's weird. Like,
what does that feel like to you? Like when people are singing back your words, like explain to me how that feels, because it's
very difficult. It's very difficult to sing because you're smiling from ear to ear. So it's like you're trying to sing through that smile. You're like, oh, this is amazing. It's just amazing every time that happens. Not that it happens all the time, but it has happened a few times. I just see I'm about to get a ticket.
Go tell the man.
Here, hang on.
Go tell the man.
Sorry. That's hilarious. Man, this is the best Zoom call ever.
I love how unpredictable.
Just on the phone. I got to take it in a second. Sorry, I was just taking the call. I got to take it as soon as I get off. Is that okay? Thanks. Welcome to Westport.
Well, one time we had a bed delivery in the middle of an interview. So, these just take funny turns on a constant, Niall.
Sorry, you had a what?
A bed delivered in the middle of an interview. So I was doing an interview with this really cool singer-songwriter from Dublin, Andy. And my bed had been, postponed for 2 weeks due to COVID, and I just arrived mid-interview and I had to get them to disassemble a bed with a hammer and then rebuild a bed, all the while having poor Andy on fucking pause.
Well, I'm sure it was very popular.
You know, nobody got to see that side of the interview. But
The thing is, I only just paid my ticket that I got last time I was parked in Westport this morning before I came out in the boat. And that was the night that I was playing in Matt Malloy's for the gig. So there is some sort of energy here.
So Saturday, you're going to be here, and hopefully everybody who's watching this interview is going to come. What other future projections should we be looking forward to? Are there new releases on the way? Is there more gigs that you want to plug while you're here with me before you get a ticket?
Yeah. Before I get another ticket. No, he was fine. He said, oh, no problem. So I explained, you know, it's rock and roll is on the phone. Sorry. Yeah. No. So I'm playing next Thursday in the Workman's Club in Dublin. It's called a Vintage Room. It's kind of a small enough venue. It's going to be, I think, very interesting, and I hope it can be as quiet and as kind of personal as all the gigs so far have been. Because you know, I just don't know what the middle of Dublin is like on a Thursday evening when you're trying to play. I know what it's like when I'm out, but yeah. So I'm doing that. I'm also doing Belfast on the 5th of April. It's it's interesting. Even if they do every month, it's called like the Songwriters Night or Songwriters Club, and it's in the Ulster Sports Hall, and they just invite two Irish songwriters every month, and there's a house band, and we both do, you know, maybe 6-7 songs each. So it's cool. And then the Inishbofin Arts Festival, that's on Maybank Holiday weekend. I'm playing there with Bioga on the Friday night, and then I'm doing my own set on the Saturday, supporting Joshua Burnside. So that should be fun.
Yeah, he's deadly, and you get to go back to your Inishbofin roots, you know, where all the music came from. That's pretty cool. Full circle. That
granny I was talking about, she was from Boffin. Yeah, so yeah, it's great. It's good. It's a very interesting month or two that I've been, you know, I've had the pleasure of enjoying so many great audiences, and just meeting people and people singing along. It's just, what more can I ask for, really?
Very little. We're all beyond blessed to work in this industry, no matter how hard, difficult, and hard.
Very true.
Really, really, really grateful for every opportunity I've had over the last 2 years, and every single incredible sonic light that I've had the pleasure to meet, yourself included. So I will buy a ticket to come see you on Saturday. I would urge everybody to do the exact same thing. Because if we don't support,
the guest list, no?
Well, I'll take it. But if we don't support the music industry right now, we won't have one. And independents really, 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 really need our help right now, because this is how they get seen, connect, and it's also how you get to feel soulful sonics and understand the world from someone else's perspective through the medium of poetry and music. So go to gigs. Just go to gigs. Buy a ticket. Go to the gig. Is there anything you would like to add before I stop recording, Niall?
No, not an awful lot, apart from, you know, just to thank you for having me on. I really, really appreciate it. It's just that you didn't have to do that, and it's great. And if anybody wants to pray for me not getting another parking ticket, you can send all your prayers here to Westport. That'd be great.
Praying for no more parking tickets. I will see you on Saturday. I'm going to stop recording now, and we'll go back to our chats and our parking ticket free lives.
Thanks so much.